What's that one book you believe that every aspiring leader should read?
Difficult question because you can see the number of books behind. And I would not as very difficult, honestly, because there are these favorites. I would not just talk about one, I'll talk about two. Though, I have read them 15, 20 years back, and I continue to flip through them, even though I read many other books. One is in terms of a common, kind of an understanding, a basic understanding, an enhanced appreciation about leadership and, kind of organizations is Jim Collins' From Good to Great. Phenomenal. And also because it's a research-based book. It's not a book just of concepts and theories. They did deep dive work for 5 years, picked up all those organizations, put out the criteria of greatness, put those standards and measured against those greatness criteria, and then they came up with those 9 organizations and said these are great organizations. And I think the essence of the book Good to Great is phenomenal. And a couple of them that I'll talk about. One of them is this definition of level 5 leadership. I think every person aspiring to be a leader must read this part.
Sure.
Outstanding, those 5, 6 qualities that they have talked about. And I'll just mention that one quality. A great leader, a level 5 leader, he looks at the mirror when things go wrong, and he looks out of the window when things go right to appreciate somebody saying, you have done it. But when things go wrong, he asks, what is it that I could have done better? Look into the mirror when things go wrong. Look out of the window when things go right. Fabulous. Okay. One part of that. So you can imagine. The second thing about that is the consistent realization that values make a bigger difference and the best of strategies in organization. That's a revelation. Okay, the great organizations had their lowest common denominator of values in place. They didn't talk about fancy ideas and jargons of strategy and breakthrough and tactics and management practices. All of the other things happen, but the core foundation were principles and values which build that organization's culture. These two important takeaways from that book. The other book, in terms of personal, I can say personal deep reflection a leader should have, and therefore leadership from a perspective of, from sensitivity and from the heart to becoming a leader, I would say recommend Maverick by Ricardo Semler. Outstanding book. And the story, Ricardo was not interested in taking over the Semler, business empire from his father. He, in fact, did law. He never came to the factories or to the corporate offices. So one day his dad called him up and said, pulled him over to the office and said, what's wrong with you? This complete empire that I've built, all this is meant for whom? What is this disinterest that you have in the business and industry? And Semler came with a fantastic response. He said, Dad, and they could see the entry gate of the factories. He said, you can see the factory entry gates? So Dad says, yes. He said, Dad, one thing about you and your management, I don't ever understand. The workers come into your factories, you give them $1 million CNC machines and equipments to run your plant, to do your manufacturing, to make your production, to make your business. And when they go through the gate out after the shift, your security people check them as if them some kind of suspects. What kind of value systems do you have? Do you ever treat people as human beings, whatever their levels are? I'm not saying in exactly the same way. The question that he posed was, can there be humanness in business?
True.
I think Dad got so strongly hit by these principles, he handed over the Semler Corporation. Rest is history. Semler became a picnic spot where in truckloads, busloads, people would go to see the working of an open organization. So I would say read Maverick by Ricardo Semler.
Wonderful. My dear friends, Harini, Srinivasan, and Milind would be very happy with this book recommendation that you made on Maverick, because they practice this as part of their Semco style of leadership.